Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. This is Jasmine, working as an assistant professor in Arunachala College of Engineering for Women. In this presentation, let's see the introduction about theory of computation. 8501 Theory of Computation. First we see what is computation. What we need to compute. Something that needs to be computed to get a desired result or solution. For example, when there is a problem, computation is performed on a problem to achieve a result. Here, problem is the input and output is the result. And next one is, what kind of problems can be computed? That is, what is computable? It gives computability theory. And the second question is, how anything can be computed, which means what is the method by which a problem can be computed to achieve a result. It gives automata theory. And next question is, when and what space and how efficient. It deals with what time and what space, how efficiently can be computed. These three questions will be answered in theory of computation. Theory of computation is also known as theoretical computational science or theoretical computer science. All these three are linked together by one question, that is, what are the limitations and capabilities of a computational model? What do you mean by a computational model in today's world? Computer. Anything which can solve a problem. Next we see what is computability theory and what is automata theory and what is complexity theory. First we see what is automata theory. Automata theory in the sense, it's a mathematical model or abstract machine model which can perform the computation. And next we see the computability theory. Computability theory means what kind of problem can be computable and which are not computable. The last one is complexity theory. It deals with the efficiency of mathematical models and how much time and what space can compute a problem. Computability theory is categorized into two types, that is decidable and undecidable. Decidable in the sense computable, undecidable in the sense uncomputable. In computable, we see by an example. For example, we are considering an addition of two numbers. They are performing some process in computation, and at last it produces the addition of two numbers output. So, it follows some finite number of steps to reach a solution. For any program, they follow some algorithm, right? So, for a certain number of steps, you reach a solution in a finite amount of time. That is computable. So, algorithm is come under computable. And the second one is uncomputable or undecidable. Here, the problem have finite number of steps, that is, it is a procedure. For that procedure, we are not sure that it gives a solution enough in a finite amount of time. It runs forever. So, algorithm come under decidable and procedure come under undecidable. Both are used similarly and also in the same context, but only one difference, that is algorithm halts. Procedure may or may not halts. Okay. And the second one is automata theory. Automata theory means, already you know, it is a mathematical model or abstract machine model which can perform the computation. So, as described in 1930s by Alan Turing, Turing machine is the most powerful abstract model which can compute anything which is computable. It's like a computer. Computer behave like a human being which have only a finite state of minds, but there were many other models which was recognized by different formal languages. So, automata theory goes on hands with formal language theory. That is, for every formal language, there is one abstract model. For Turing machine, it is recognized by unrestricted grammar or recursively enumerable. So, in Turing machine, there is no restrictions. And the second one is linear bound automata. Here, there are some few restrictions. we will see later, and it is recognized by context sensitive grammar. And third one is push down automata. It's also having some restrictions. We will see later, and it is recognized by context free grammar. The last one is finite automata or finite state machines, and is a basic simple model, and it is recognized by regular grammar. The last one is complexity theory. What is Mr. complexity? We know is how efficiently the problems can be computed. So, problem takes two types, that is hard or easy. So, if there is a solution to any problem, which means there is a mathematical statement that is true. If a mathematical statement is true, then there is a proof in a polynomial time. Problems that can be reducible to polynomial time, that can be reducible to solve by Turing machine. All these are come under complexity theory. So, polynomial time, polynomial space, polynomial, non-polynomial time, intractable, all these are come under the complex. And main thing here is how efficiently the time and space can be computed for a problem. This is the definition for theory of computation. Theory of computation is a branch of computer science that deals with how efficiently the problems can be solved in a model of computation using algorithms. Okay. Next we see the basic mathematical notations and techniques. There are three basic mathematical notation and techniques. The first one is alphabets, the second one is strings, and third one is language. First one is alphabets. Alphabet means it is a set of finite symbols, and it is denoted by the symbol sigma. Next we see the example. Summation equal to, within the set bracket we are given as a comma b, and a is one symbol and b is another. This set of finite symbol is called alphabet. Second one is strings. String means it's a finite sequence of symbols. Let us see by an example. If summation equal to inside the set bracket we are providing a comma b. For this set of symbols, what are the strings generated? Let's see. AB, ABB, AA, BB. These are the strings over the alphabet A and B. We can write in any way for the alphabets A and B. Next we see the operations on strings. And the first operation is learn. The second one is empty or null. Third one is concatenation. Fourth one is reverse. Fifth one is power of an alphabet. Sixth one is clean closure. Seventh one is palindrome. And eighth one is prefix and suffix. First operation is length. And the string is represented by the symbol W. So, if we are considering W is a WB string, then how we find the length of the string? Length of the string is found by number of symbols present in the string. That is the length of the string. For example, for W equal to, inside the set bracket we are providing 4 symbols, that is A, B, C, D. So the length is A is 1, B is 2, C 3, D is 4. So the length of the string is 4. Okay. Second operation is empty or null. That is, string consists of 0 symbols or length of the string is 0, and it is denoted by the symbol epsilon. Let me see by an example here. W equal to, inside the set bracket we didn't provide any symbols, right? So the length of the string is 0. Third one is concatenation. Concatenation means concatenating the two strings. Here we are considering the two strings as W and B, and concatenation of the strings W and B is obtained by joining the symbols of V to W. Okay, we see by an example. In W, there are 3 symbols A, B, C, and in B, 2 symbols D and B. Concatenation is performed here. That is W V equal to, inside the set bracket, A, B, C, D. Okay. Fourth one is reverse. Reverse means the reverse of a string is obtained by writing the symbols in reverse order. Okay, let's see by an example. W equals ABC. So the reverse of the string W equals, that is represented as W power R equal to CBA. Okay. Fifth one is power of an alphabet. So already you know alphabet is represented by summation, and summation power m denotes the set of all strings over the alphabet of length m. An example, summation equal to 0, 1. So summation power 0, that is m is denoted by 0. 0 means there is no symbols, right? So it's represented by epsilon. And summation power 1, here the m is 1. This consists of 0 and 1. And next one is summation power 2. The same represent 2. Here we write the string as a combination of 2. It is 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Okay. And next one is summation power 3. That is m represent 3. So inside the set bracket we write the combination of 3. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay. Sixth one is clean closure. Okay. In clean closure, it denotes the set of all strings including empty string. That is the main thing here. Clean closure means it includes the empty string. So, for example, summation equal to A. Then, the clean closure of this alphabet is the summation star equal to, it includes the empty string epsilon, and next A, triple E, and so on. Seventh one is palindrome. It's a string with the same whether it's returning backward or forward, right? For example, mad. Eighth one is prefix and suffix. Okay. So example, string W equal to 1, 2, 3. Prefix in the sense we start from the first, right? So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Suffix means we write from the back side. So 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. The next one is languages. It's a set of strings from an alphabet is called languages. For example, English. It is a language over the alphabet A2. Next one is operations on languages. That is, first one is product or concatenation. Second one is reversal. Third one is par. Fourth one is clean star or clean closure. Fifth one is positive closure. Sixth one is union. And seventh one is index. First one is product or concatenation. So here X is from the language L1 and Y is from the language L2. Here we are performing the concatenation, that is L1 into L2. So we get L1, that is combination of two languages L1 and L. Second one is reversal. Reversal of a language is a set of all string reversal. So reversal of a language is represented as L power R, and the string reversal is represented as W power R, and W belongs to language L. Okay. Third one is power. So for given language the power is power of the language is represented as L power K. Inside the set bracket we are providing some input, that is x1, x2, x3, etc. up to xk, and each input belongs to the language. Fourth one is clean star or clean closure. That is set of all strings including empty string. It is known as clean star. Okay. So an example is represented as L power star equal to union of I equal to 0 to infinity L power I. That is L star equal to start from the empty string, right? So L power 0 union L power 1, L union L power 2, that goes on. Next one is positive closure. So it's a set of all strings without including empty string is known as positive closure. It's represented by L power plus, that is union of I equals 1 to infinity L power I. So it does not include empty string, right? So it starts from I equal to 1. So L plus equal to L power 1 union L power 2 union L power 3, etc. Sixth one is union. Here we are considering two languages L1 and L2. So the union of L1 and L2 is denoted by L1 union L. Seventh one is intersection. Here also we are considering two languages L1 and L2, right? So intersection of this L1 and L2 is denoted by L1 intersection L2. Okay. Thank you for watching this presentation.